I can tell this is going to be fun. Okay, this is the right microphone. I walk around when I speak, so it's going to be hard for me to stay in one spot. I'll try not to get feedback. Come out here. Should be good. Um, how's it going?
Good.
I remember you. Um, I see you everywhere. Um,
You can't be videoed walking around.
oh, sorry. Am I being video? I was keeping Roy on his toes. Somebody's calling me, and I think it's a spam call, so I'm just going to put him to voicemail. It could be. It's probably my rich cousin in Nepal that just, died and gave me some money. We're going from guesswork to greatness. That's the title of this. And it's diagnosing or figuring out what's really driving or what's draining, most likely, your team performance. And it can be your own business if you're just your one person. You still have a team of people, even if you're like subbing them out. You have family that has to put up with you as you're doing everything. So that's also a team that you got to worry about. This stuff applies in families and applies in your organizations, your civic organizations, your boards, anything that you're a part of. I just spoke Tuesday to the chamber board, and we went over some personality stuff, and that has a lot to do with this. Today, I'm just going to focus, because we got just a limited amount of time, I want to focus on basically just helping you diagnose. There's a sheet that we'll go over in a second inside your thing. If you don't have that, you can be digging it out. That looks like this. It's got a little flywheel on it. It's called the leadership audit or the leadership flywheel. And we'll look at those in just a minute, but I want to lead up to it a little bit. To a little bit about me, I am the president of Pursuing Growth Group, also a one-person business. My wife would argue it's at least two, but legally, tax-wise, only one. Right, Randy? Okay, so there's a link at the bottom of this, and I think it may be, actually it didn't make it on that one. If you need a link, let me know and I'll get it to you. But there's a link where you can take that free personality profile. It's called the 5 Voices. If you want to, we can look at that later. This is what I'm going to do. Most leaders, most of you as leaders of your business, you don't have you don't have a performance problem in your team, most likely. You have a clarity problem. I promise I wrote this before I met you, Joey. So you have he's getting tired of hearing me say that to him over and over. But there's a clarity problem. And I'm not going to read all this to you, but this workshop basically is going to help you uncover the drivers behind that team effectiveness. And we're going to use this audit to do it. The workshop objectives are up there. Hopefully you can read those. It's a little bit dark. I'm sorry about that. I wasn't aware that I was doing it that dark. But we're going to identify about 3 to 5 things, and we're going to focus in on one by the end of this that you're going to do in the next 30 days. So it's without action, it's just a thought, right? Just a good thought. So we're going to leave with that simple plan. First, some questions. That's why I got the mic and I want to run around. Why do most teams kind of plateau? What happens to teams that you've been a part of? It doesn't have to be your current team. If you want to ask for a friend, you can do that. Certain people are in the room. You can't say it's them. But why do teams plateau, do you think? Lack of motivation. Burnout. That's a good one. Yeah.
Unclear.
Okay. You picked up on that clarity thing in the first slide, didn't you? Toxic work environment. Yeah. Whew.
Lack of leadership.
Yeah. All those are right.
Close to retirement, let your business run itself.
Yeah. That's a good one. That is a good one. It's real. The struggle is real, isn't it? What's the difference between activity and effectiveness?
Effectiveness gets it done, and activities can go on without being effective.
Yeah. Anybody, I mean, that's a good one. Anybody have another thing to add to that? Effectiveness and activity are two different things, right? You can be very active and be not effective. How many of us have felt like we're spinning our wheels sometimes? Let's be honest. Yeah. We have a great destination out there, but we're just spinning wheels. Sometimes we're headed toward that destination, and sometimes we're headed the opposite direction. So, what are some common leadership blind spots? You may have discovered some for yourself. Just getting you in the right frame of mind. That's all these questions are doing. I don't have any right answers. And the next slide's not going to be the perfect answer, and you missed it, Randy. So if you have one, throw it out there.
Listening to your team.
That's a big one. It's a big blind spot for leaders. They're so good at seeing. We're so good. I say we because I can include. You're so good at seeing the future and where you want it to go because you think strategically most of the time. It's hard to listen when you're talking.
Delegating is another one. Being able to delegate.
Listening helps delegation. But you're right. It is. One is connected to the other, but they're both big issues, big blind spots for most of us.
This may actually go with the other one, but like over-committing or like being too busy. Because I think some people, I mean, I hear this all the time when I'm doing like B2B networking. They're like, staying busy. And I'm like, no. I don't want to wear busyness as a
Yeah.
badge of honor.
Yeah.
Because I mean, sometimes the more we are busy and overcommit ourselves, stuff slips through the cracks, which kind of could be a blind spot. But it's like that's where it hinders the efficacy of it.
Yeah. That's a combo. You hit both questions. One answer. Pfft, that's awesome. See, I knew I called you out for a reason right at the beginning. So here's what I want you to get from all those questions and answers and all the thoughts that you just had. Your team is probably not broken, most likely. Most people, believe it or not, want to do a good job. Most people on your team, the one that you're having a trouble with, most likely wants to do a good job somewhere down deep. They may have hidden it so far down you can't see it, but they do. The team's not broken. They're just responding perfectly to a broken system, which you've created as the leader. Sorry, I'm not here to depress you, I promise. But it's true. We have control. If you're leading a business, if you're leading a team, if you're leading a family, you have some level of control. You can't control everything. That's the first thing we need to get. That also can be a blind spot. We think we're in control of everything. We're not in control of everything, but we are in control of some things. If we would spend less time focused on the things we can't control and more focused on the things we can control, that effectiveness factor will completely rise every single time. Promise you that. I don't have all the answers. I'm not the solution to your problem. I tell people this all the time as a coach. I'm not the solution to your problem. I am a trusted advisor who will walk with you and help you find a solution to your problem. That's what I do for my business, Pursuing Growth. So we're going to do a leadership audit, and this is usually what I do when I meet with somebody the first time. I sit down with them and I pull this paper out and we talk. Because there may be a business that's having a problem that I'm not the best person for. It could be that I need to send them to learn how to do Canva and learn how to do brand and marketing and connect them with people who provide those services, because that's not what I do. But it could be that it is really, truly just a leadership problem, which in essence, I can tell you this, every problem you have that you're dealing with, and if you think I'm wrong, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. It's not going to be an argument. I really would love to hear it. At the root of every issue that you're dealing with in your business, in your team, in your family even, the root of it is a trust issue. Guarantee it. Somewhere at the bottom, the root issue is a trust issue. They don't trust you that you're leading in the best way from their perspective. They may have a really screwed up perspective, but from their perspective, you're not leading right. So they won't follow. So it's a trust issue. This is the handout. So pull that out if you will. And I'm going to pull this one out. We're going to look at it. This is called the flywheel. And on this flywheel, you'll see, hold on, I think I can do this. Oh, look, it's got a green light. I'm like a cat, follow it around. The communication, relationships, alignment, execution, and capacity. Those are all part of that flywheel. Most leaders focus right there. They focus on, here's where we're going, let's get aligned around this, go, get it done. Right? It's okay if you said that yourself. So have I. It's okay. We're all guilty. Like, there's no judgment here. Execution and alignment, or alignment and execution are not your problem, most likely. It could be. We could dive deeper into that. It could be. Most likely, it's these two right here. Because we skip those and go right to those. Because that's more the how. If you've ever seen Simon Sinek's Why, the importance of why, that if you've not, Google it. It's the most watched TED Talk ever, I think. So communication and relationships are the important part. That's where you got to start. So communication, relationships. If we start there, if we focus there, there's a bunch of stuff you can go into. There's tons of different things you can do with me or without me. There's a ton of information out there on communications and relationships. The problem is not the lack of resources that you have to build that into your business. There's 45 different assessments you can take. There's 20 billion of us consultants out there trying to do this. The funny thing is, rarely do people listen to those people. Truly listen. Some of them you shouldn't listen to because they're kooks. But some of us actually do have a point every now and then that's decent that we should listen to. So I'm going to ask you to do this. I want you to, in those are the same areas, I just put them in a list. On this thing here, it says, diagnose each area to understand your strengths and weaknesses, as well as identify your areas for improvement. Failure in any of these undermines both performance and resilience. So I'm not saying that those alignment and execution don't matter. They matter very much. But they'll never happen at a high level until you get those first two right. Because that's the basis of the trust that needs to be there before you can really, truly be aligned and execute well. And then once you're executing, your capacity can increase. So you can scale once you do that. So I want you to look at each of those things on the paper, select any issues. Communication. When I talk about communication, I like to do this. It means clarity, okay? Clarity around the vision. Clarity around the expectations. Most of your people that are struggling, not all of them, but most of them, are struggling because they don't really clearly understand your expectation. You think they do. You think they're crazy that they wouldn't, because in your mind, it's very clear. I get that. In their mind, it may not be, because you can't communicate with them clearly enough to where they hear it. You don't talk to somebody like you want to be talked to and think that's enough. That's why it's important to do these personality profiles. I don't care which one you do, pick one. They're all pretty good. How many have done DISC before? Enneagram, 5 Voices, that's the one I'm certified in. Golly, there's tons out there. What's the other one? The Big 5, Myers-Briggs, Top Indicator, MBTI. That's my favorite one, by the way. Don't tell 5 Voices that. But 5 Voices is actually a simplified version of Myers-Briggs. It's tied right into it. And so helping you understand how to communicate with your people, you know yourself well to lead yourself well. Then you know your people well to lead them well. So understanding that is half the battle. The other half is actually implementing it, changing the way you communicate. It's very hard because your natural tendency is to do it the way you've always done it. It's hard to break out of that. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And I guarantee you, if you try and you measure yourself, you will prove to yourself that it is worth it. Expectations and roles, clarity of role. Clearly communicating what is my role in this organization to help get it to that vision you want to accomplish. Help me understand that. And getting people who understand that to help other people you can't communicate with understand that. Sometimes it's that delegation piece you talked about. I'm not able to communicate to everybody in this room. Some of you are sitting there now going, oh, dear Lord, let it be over. And that's okay. I get it. But maybe your neighbor can tell you on the way out when you're riding home, hey, here's what he really meant. And they can say it in a way that you can hear it. That's happened to you, right? It's happened to me. I've been places before and I thought, what were they trying to say? And I'm thinking, that was a waste of breath. And then somebody sits down with me and says, hey, I think what they were saying was this. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, well, that's perfectly right. It just hits you different when people can speak your language. It really is like having a different language. People who have English as their second language or they know another language, it's easier for them to get that because communication is a language. That's what it is. Relationship, trust is what that boils down to. When I trust you, when I trust that you're for me, if I know Jason is for me, I'm willing to let him make a mistake every now and then and not crucify him and not jump ship and say, he's the worst boss I ever had. I'm willing to work with him because I know he made a mistake trying to help me be better. If people know you're for them, that'll carry you a long way when you make a mistake. It really will. And it builds that relational health. They have safety with you. I feel like I can share things with my boss because I'm not afraid that he's going to fire me if I say I disagree with you. He's open to hearing that. That's a good thing. Transparency. I'm not the owner of this company. I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you from where I sit, here's what I see. And that's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to assert your authority. I'm not going to run over you and talk bad behind your back. I'm going to say everything I say directly to you, and I want you to listen. And if you listen, and then because you have a different perspective that sometimes sees things I can't see, and you say no to me, I trust you if I have that relationship. And I'll let you lead, and I'll follow, and I'm aligned, and I'm on board. So that's a big deal. Alignment, over-communicating. If your people in your team can't make a pretty good, funny impression of you and sharing the vision of where you want to go, you're not sharing it enough. It's just another leader I heard say that, and it's very true. If they can't make an impression of you, if they can't mimic you making the vision statement to them over and over and over again. I know it seems like it's crazy that I would have to repeat this over and over to people. People learn from repetition, from this high on up. You have to repeat it. If you're not repeating it and revisiting it every 20 to 30 days, you're losing it. It's not communication, it's just noise. It's la, 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 I'm talking about something, but I'm not doing anything. Execution, accountability. Once they get clear on where you want to go, then if you know they understand this is where you want to go, and they say, I don't want to go there, and they go over here and stand in your way, it's an accountability issue at that point. There's one of two things going on in your organization, I guarantee it. Training, it's a training gap or a leadership gap. That hits the one of those. It's a leadership gap. You're not providing them the resources they need to grow. Or it's two, if that's the case and that's being provided, it is a performance issue or a defiance issue at worst. You probably don't have many of those, but occasionally you can have those. So there's two issues you're really dealing with most of the time. Am I providing them everything they need to do a successful job at their role? And if I'm not, then I need to provide more. I may not be able to afford to provide it all right now, but I need to lay out the plan and tell them that and say, I'm working toward this. I can't afford to buy everybody new computers this week, but I'm going to buy one a month until we can get these, done. I mean, whatever you need to do, everybody's got a limited budget, not just government and churches, right? and private nonprofits. Everybody has a limited budget. So you're all working within limited budgets. If you don't have a limited budget, you need to hire me. So capacity is the development, the growth versus stagnation. That gets into how you're developing people. People want to go. You want to go where you're growing. Every one of you wants to work for the organization you work for, even if it's your own, because you can grow in that. You see where you're at now, and you see a version of where you want to be, right? I would say that's correct. So, what the data really says. First, how many of you, let's stop for a second right there. How many of you would say, or be willing to share? You don't have to. If nobody shares, I'm just going on. But I want to give opportunity. In this worksheet, what's the one area you struggle with the most or your organization struggles with the most? If your boss ain't here, you can talk bad about them. Let's go. Wait a minute, it's on video. You might want to stop. Who are you going to show this to, Jim? Let's don't put this public. Anybody want to share?
Execution.
Execution.
I'm a safety director,
Oh,
so.
okay. That makes sense. I was like, wait a minute. That makes sense.
So, for my day job, that's not my personal business, but for my day job, I can have the best laid out plan. This is what we're gonna do with training and everything, but if I don't have leadership behind me to get the guys to see the importance of it, then I'm just running a paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. You have the what is it? The responsibility to do the safety without the authority to really lead in those situations where you're not there, or you're not direct report. Yeah. Yeah. That would be a hard one. It still gets back to communication, even with those leaders, really. And it's just working on how can I communicate that differently,
That's
to those
right. And
people.
I need to communicate the importance of that to my CEO, so
Yeah.
that he understands.
Yeah, because if you get that weight behind you,
Yes.
it may make a big difference. Yeah, I get it. Like half my battle as a trainer, HR learning development, was just getting the executive staff on board. Once they were on board, I could just step back because I had some great leaders. But once I could get them on board and I showed them this is going to work if we do this, and they bought it, they believed it, I just got out of the way, and they really led that. And then I got all the credit. It was great. It's wonderful. So anybody else want to share? What area do you struggle with the most? What area do you think most businesses struggle with the most in there? Or it's been your experience?
Me personally, I'm a professional photographer, and
All right.
so, of course, there's photographers everywhere, and then there's photographers
Gotcha.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing the difference, that makes it hard, but it's probably relationships for me,
Yeah.
just because I moved away for a while, and now I'm back.
Yeah.
And it's like, nobody knows me anymore. Everybody's moved away, like.
That's awesome. It is awesome because I know that feeling. I lived here 25 years ago. I moved away and I came back, and I still know some people, but we all live 25 years in different places, growing differently, having different experiences. And before we had those shared common experiences. So coming back, yeah, it is. It's like that relationship thing, working to build either those relationships back or realizing that maybe that relationship was great at that time. It may not ever get back to that. And then starting to build new relationships. And so, yeah, that's a good one. That would be a challenging one for sure. And it could have a lot to do with understanding who you are and how you're wired, and then getting with people that will elevate you and be around to elevate and pick you up. Start waving a flag when it's time, somebody. When I need to go, what time have I got?
What you just said just clicked with me for the simple reason. I and Mike Dockery, who was here a little while ago, sitting here, him and I were by father of all the people in the room beside us. He's not here, anyway. We were all the two people here from the business community. And one reason I came here today, kind of was the leadership of the Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber of Commerce Board has changed in the last 10 years drastically. It's turned over to you young people. That's a good thing. But I came here to meet y'all.
Yeah,
And
that's also a good thing.
but I've gotten out of that loop too. I used to be on the board of the Chamber of Commerce. I board of Girl Club. I did a lot of leadership stuff. And then when I got married 20 years ago, I kind of built a farm and I just got away from all that.
Yeah,
And I run my own business and that's at that point now, it's running itself. I've been doing it for 31 years and I have a great client base.
yeah,
But again, I went to a chamber function of coffee a couple months ago. I knew nobody.
yeah,
And that's one reason I'm here today, was just because I just wanted to get kind of a handle on who's leading our community now.
yeah,
And I think we're in pretty good hands from some of the things
yeah.
I've seen when I've been here.
They're okay. They're okay.
Trying to get that about being away and coming back. I didn't leave, but I left the leadership role
Right.
in the city and
Yeah.
and the chamber, and for lots of reasons, mostly because I had other things that were more important at that time.
Sure. Yeah, everybody has to prioritize. That's a good thing though, to want to come back and build relationships. Because it really is. I used to tell people they print me up a T-shirt at the community college. I used to work at a community college, and they print up a T-shirt and it said, "Hi, my name is Keith. I don't know anything, but I know everybody. How can I help you?" That was my motto. And so, and it's still in some level true today. There's a lot that I've learned because I'm just old. And so I've picked up a few things, usually by doing it wrong about 20 times. And then I'm thinking, that doesn't work. Let's try something else. And then you stumble on a correct way of doing something. And that's really kind of what I've made a lot of leadership mistakes. And I tell people that's probably the best credential I can give you for understanding this. And most of it has been in building relationships, but not doing it correctly, not owning who I am, understanding that I do bring something to the table, and also understanding that every single person I meet brings something to the table. Even the person, and especially sometimes the person who sees it completely opposite from me, the person that's giving you the most rub at your organization, the person you're like, when I'm talking right now, you're going, "Oh, I know who you're talking about." That one, the one that just popped in your head, that one, that's the one that can probably teach you the most about yourself and about what you need to do to change, to communicate better to people who don't naturally communicate like you do. I could give names, but I won't. Anyways, so here's what the data really says, and this is from studies that they did with Giant. Giant Worldwide is the company I'm certified through. Has anybody ever heard of Giant other than me telling you about it? Oh, a couple people. Okay. Giant is a pretty cool company. Jeremy Kubicek and Steve Cockram are the leaders of that. They've written several books. Their latest book is called The Voice-Driven Leader. It's based on the 5 voices and how to lead using the 5 voices. It's really cool. They've written several books. Communication Code is another one. That's a great one. I recommend that. If your struggle was communication, I recommend that one. But high clarity and low trust, it'll get you compliance. Some people, all they want is compliance. There are certain roles that compliance is extremely important. So compliance is not a bad thing. I don't want to set that up as a bad thing. Compliance is a good thing, but you want commitment with that compliance. And so compliance without commitment is what you get when you have high clarity, but they don't really trust you because they don't believe you're out for their best. They just believe you need this done and I'm the only one that can do it, so they're making me do it. Or I'm the one they want to do it, so I've got to do it. High trust, low accountability. And when I say family business energy, there's nothing wrong with family business. I'd say some of you in here are. That's fine. But when I'm saying it there, what I'm saying is nepotism. when it's at its worst. But it's kind of leaning toward everybody who thinks like me, acts like me, walks like me, talks like me, we're good. It's a great business. They love it because they love me, because they're just like me. It's like looking in the mirror. Woo! Party! You know, everybody's all the same. I tell people all the time, if I had a business and had 20 people just like me, we would be broke in a week. We need my wife on board to make that happen because she is the opposite of me. She sees things differently than me. I usually do a thing when I do diversity training or something. I'll do a thing and put a beach ball in the middle of the room. Those of you on the board, sorry, you're getting this double. But put a beach ball in the middle of the room. It's got colors on it. And I pick somebody on the opposite side and I start arguing with them. Tell them, what colors do you see? And they tell me 3 colors. And I tell them, I see 3 different colors. And we argue back and forth. And we realize after joking around and talking about it, there's 6 colors on that beach ball. When I'm looking at it from any perspective, except the last one, I can only see 3. They can only see 3, and we see 3 different colors. I pull in people from the side. They see 2 of theirs, 1 of mine. It's different. Nobody around that beach ball is lying or stating wrong things. They just see it differently. That beach ball, when I see it, it has a white spot on the top and the bottom. And I notice it, and I say, hey, let's turn that up and turn it around so everybody can see all the colors. Then it becomes clearer. That's what you're doing when you communicate about anything, really, is that beach ball is the issue. I used to do this and give out little beach balls. Sorry, Jason. If you have beach balls instead of soccer balls, man, we have it. We've got it down. If you need a soccer ball like Squeezy, Jason's got a bunch he wants to give away. But if you have this high trust, low accountability, it's more that vibe of I trust everybody gets along, but I can get by with murder. I'm not following compliance on anything. HR people are passing out because they see, oh my God, you could be sued 17 different ways from Sunday. What are you doing? You know, and nobody's thinking about it because that's not the way we think. We all think alike. And so it doesn't matter which side you're on. Like if you had all compliance people who think that way, nobody would want to work there because it wouldn't be fun, but they would be perfectly in compliance. The government would love them. They'd pay every penny of tax. Everything would be perfect, but it wouldn't be exciting. High accountability, low development. If you don't develop people, that's when you get that burnout cycle you talked about, if there's not for them to do. So from insight to action, here's what I'm challenging you to do, and we're gone. Am I almost finished? What time? I got, okay. Each participant, I want you to do this. Identify one performance driver that you want to improve in your circle. It can be your family. It could be, when I say performance in your family, I just mean what's your end result? What do you want as a goal to accomplish there? One performance driver to improve, one behavior that you personally must shift. If you as a leader aren't willing to change something about how you're doing things now, don't expect different results in the future. It's not rocket science. It's true, but it's hard. It's simple, but it's hard. Difficulty and simplicity are 2 separate things. And so pick one behavior you personally want to shift, and then one conversation you need to have. And then I want to challenge you to do all 3 of those in the next 30 days. And I'm going to give you my email address. I've got cards on the table over there. I think somewhere, in front of Ingrid. Pick up a card on your way out. Email me in 30 days. And just tell me, you can email me tomorrow if you want, or today, and tell me your goals, or those 3 things if you want. That's up to you. You don't have to ever tell me what it is, but tell me if it worked. If you tried it and it didn't work, I'll give you a free soccer ball squeezy. No, compliments of Jason at Lingo Staffing. Because insight without action is just interesting. I don't want to be just interesting. I want it to be action oriented. So this is the handout. Take it with you. Look at it later if you didn't get time to do it right now. I know I'm talking and aggravating. Some of you can't focus like me on 2 different things at once. It's okay. There's my email. It's one email. I've also got Keith at Pursuing Growth Group, but you can email that one as well. info@pursuinggrowthgroup.com. And there's the free Giant account. If you want to take a picture of that, write it down, whatever, I'll leave that up if you want for just a second. And I think that's it. I think that's any questions before I just hand it over? Are we going over? I don't want to run over time. Okay.
I guess I lost the question, it's more of a statement. Many years ago, I'd say probably 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I went through a training program there, the personality profile thing you were saying a while ago. I'm not sure what the name of it was, but DISC.
Yeah, it's DISC.
That personality profile, I guess the one thing I got out of that was I was in the right position in life, which was a salesman.
Yeah.
But those profiles like that will tell you where you, if you're doing the right job or not.
Yeah.
Probably what they'll tell you. If I'm not good at the execution paperwork side of things. I'm a salesman. I'm good at the communication relationship side.
Right.
And that's my most important thing, I think, in what I do in my business. But with that being said, I'm a one-man show, so I've got to learn this execution thing is, you can sell it all day long, but if you can't execute it and get it to the customer,
Yeah. They want their money back.
you have a problem. I've been doing it 31 years, so I have to make myself do some of this stuff when it comes to the
Sure.
execution side.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to beat me.
Yeah. That's a good point. I told somebody earlier, it's usually 70-30. If you can get where you can do 70% of the time, you can do the things you're naturally good at, like communicating relationships, if that's it, or execution and alignment, if that's it. You'll either be one of those two, probably. If you can get 70% of your time doing things that give you energy, that it doesn't feel like work, 30% of the time doing the things like you have to do because you need to take the trash out. Everybody does, right? And so, yeah, everybody hates it, but they got to do it, right? If not, it's going to be bad. So you got to do it. If you can do that, typically keep it in there most of the time, you'll be pretty happy with what you're doing and pretty successful at it, most likely. Because you're just everybody in here is naturally good at something. Some of you would flip out if Jim asked you to speak up here. Just lose it. Like, I'm scared. I can't even relate to that because I've just been doing this all my life, really, in ministry. And then here, I've just, always been in front of a group. So it's like talking to you individually. It's not any different for me. But I get that it is for some other people. My wife's that way. She's like, I don't like this. And so, but whatever you bring to the table is needed in the whole. And because people like me need people like you. Because you're probably thinking through things on a different level than I am. And when we're better together, that's the big thing. We're better together. I got an amen over there. Way to go, Ingrid. But seriously, we're better together. And that could apply to the whole county, the whole state. I mean, the more we can collaborate with people and organizations that have a similar goal, we're not competing against them. We're collaborating with them. Because the better we are in Eden, the better Rockingham County is. So the better Reidsville is, the better all these other places are. Eventually, we're going to have to bite that bullet and learn that, right? I've been in an area that was very rural in Tennessee, and it exploded in growth. And it's still exploding. Every time I go back, there's 50 new buildings. And I'm like, holy crap, I can't even drive through the town. I don't know where I'm at. Like, when did they build this highway? It's like all this stuff's happening. The tax base is going up. The income level is going up. People don't want to leave there anymore. They want to stay there. Randy was talking about that earlier. I see that happening in Rockingham County in the Eden. Eden's right smack in the middle of coming up from Berry Hill and 220. Smack in the middle. And there's no reason that it's not going to happen here. But are you going to be ready is the question. So anyways, that's preaching. It's over. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.